sacked or fired 5 people in my life, and I'm 16.
Etc. Etc. How's that going for you?
So, the brilliant thing for me is I'm too young to be in a bar. I'm too young.
No, it's just so funny to me that, like, you're not even old enough to drink or go in a bar and you own a bar. That's just so funny. Back to your deal, yeah? The idea of doing deals without any of your own money, do you think that's a possibility? Like, is that really possible?
1,000,000%, yeah.
Are you in school, or how does that work?
No, I left early. I left when I was 15, turning 16.
All right. So today we have a great interview, guys. Today we have Mitchell Carling with us on the call. And if you don't know Mitchell, Mitchell is actually a 16-year-old, I believe, 16-year-old
Yes.
entrepreneur.
Okay.
And he bought his first business with no money or no equity. I'm not sure of the details, but we'll dive into it and we'll figure it out from there. But not only that, Mitchell is actually doing QLA, so this is something we talk about on the channel. And not just that, Mitchell comes from a family called the Carlings, and this is something that I would like to dive into. They grew their company. I watched an interview like 2 years ago. They grew their company from 5 employees to about 250 employees, somewhere between 140 million in revenue per year. But this is from 2 years ago, so who knows what they're up to now. This is something that we'll get into. And right now he's in Spain. I'm in Texas. So we're on a video call. But yeah, how you doing, Mitchell?
I'm very good. Nice to finally speak to you face to face, other than on Instagram and text messages.
Yeah. The timing was difficult to set up, but
Yeah,
we
very
got it done.
difficult.
We got it done. So, man, so I just want to, like, where do we even start? So tell me, let's start like in the beginning, man, because I know you're young, right? You're 16 right now?
Yeah, 16, 17 next month, so I'm still using the title a little bit
Yeah,
as
man.
a 16-year-old, but
That's crazy.
yeah, getting older and older.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, because I watched the interview, you started this at 14, right?
Yeah, so I have one business as of now, and that's still continuing to grow and grow every day. I'm looking to buy more. I started studying and going, so I went to the Castle Dance QLA course for a week when I was 14, and it's just now took me 2 years to get my first business.
Yeah.
So when I spoke to Dan on my show, you kind of pointed that out before, that I'm very slow still. I'm not the fastest, although I'm 16, and everyone will congratulate me for that. I would say I'm still very slow in terms of what people can go at.
Yeah, I heard you saying that with Dan, but like Mitchell, like I know, I don't know what your world is like, but to most people, if you buy a business at 16, I'm sure there's people that bought it at 13. I heard, but that's just kind of crazy, 16. Even if it took you 2 years, that's still a story to tell, nonetheless, at least a story to tell.
Yeah. So, and if that is what amazes most people, and I'd like to say one thing that you need to learn is seller's finance. Please learn what that is. And you, I'm guessing, as a Dan Pena listener and watcher, will know what that is. But seller's finance is the way to go.
Yeah.
Especially when you're starting out, when you have no money.
Exactly, right?
You need to learn what that is.
Yeah. So, okay, let's start from the beginning, man. So, like, tell me, what was it like for you growing up? Like, growing up with your parents. I know they're high performers and they're workaholics, I heard. What was it like growing up? Just dive into that.
If I take you back to the start, growing up, from what I can remember, since I can remember, has always been very comfortably living. I go to school, never had too much to struggle for, in a sense of a lot more people have to struggle. For me, even where I'm from, a lot of people struggle more than me. I was in a comfortable living, and now it keeps getting greater and greater as my parents grow up, and also as I go older and do my own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're back to the start from Dundee, Scotland. Not a lot going on there, just a little town, a few 100,000 people, I think, now. So not much going on, going to school up into the age of primary 5. I don't know what year that would be in school in America, but primary 5 in Scotland. I moved to Spain for a year when my parents, they wanted a change in the house. Well, not in the house I'm in now, but close to it. We're still do business in the same area. My bar's in the same area. So we moved there for a year. My parents had their businesses and stuff still running in Scotland, so they moved back after a year. And continued normal life, really, until as I got older, I was taught more. Oh, put Dan Pena on YouTube. I'm spending a lot of time on YouTube as a little kid to put Dan Pena on. And that kind of started me wanting to make my own money, and just my parents continued teaching me about money and making money. And then we finally moved to Dubai during 2021 at some point, and we're still there to this moment.
Yeah. So do you speak Spanish?
I did before. Now it's not so much, but I'm learning it. I'm learning again. I understand all of it. But speaking it's another issue.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've never been to Dubai, but definitely want to visit there one day. I heard there's a lot of opportunity out there. But like, what are some of the business lessons you've learned from your parents growing up that you've seen them do, that they taught you?
Well, from my parents, I'd say never give up is obviously the first thing. Hearing my dad's stories and my mum's stories, my dad had 3 failed businesses.
This is QLA businesses, right?
Pardon?
The 3 businesses you're talking about, are they QLA or are they different?
Yeah, QLA businesses. So and property businesses as well. My parents got into the property side of things at the start. So they listened to a lot of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So they read Rich Dad, Poor Dad books. Met Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, I saw their interview.
They were good friends.
Yeah.
So they got into that. And so never give up was the first one. A lot of things go wrong in life. It's just as long as you're willing to make sure that it's going to go that way, keep going the way, keep doing what you want to do. And then added on to that, I would say, don't have a plan B. So I've also took this on in my life. My mum and dad never had a plan B. So you have to make it work. In my eyes, if you don't have a plan B, it's always going to fall on a plan B. You're always going to have your plan B there, so it's always going to be the thing you can rely on, and which is you're going to do that. If you have one goal and one goal only, you have to make that goal happen, or you're done.
So
that is another rule.
For a lot of kids your age, right? Their plan B is school. Like, I'm gonna go to school and start my business. Are you in school, or how does that work?
No, I left early. I left when I was 15, turning 16. So by the time I was in the school next year, I was 16. So I left after that.
Oh, so you like recently left school?
Yeah.
How does it feel?
A year and a half ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you excited leaving school or what?
No, you know what? Sometimes I miss hanging out with my friends. I hated school, though. Always hated school.
Yeah.
Hated the lessons, the classes. So no, I'd rather get busy doing something outside, making money.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. So like, how do your friends look at what you do? Like, yeah, guys, I bought a business with little or no money. Like, yeah, like you just do it like this. Like, it sounds kind of odd, no?
It's a wide variety of feelings, I'd say. My closest friends, they don't really care. Some of them go to school, some of them don't themselves. They get on with their lives, and we're just friends at the end of the day. Then at the other end of the day, I've lost friends from not going to school, not in that sense, but leaving school as well is a big stepping stage for a person, so you mature as well, and sometimes you just don't have time for people that are still at school, and it's nothing to do with them, it's just different levels of things and stuff like that. And then also you meet new people that are in your business and people that you want to surround yourself with.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay. I wouldn't change it for the world, leaving school.
So like, do they ever ask you like what you do?
Yeah, and some people still don't fully understand it, and some people will never understand it in a certain. Some people don't want to, no matter how much they ask. what you're doing, some people won't. And that's all I could really say on it. Is for me, it was for the better, but and then it's not for everyone as well. Some people should go to school and do what they want to do. So
it's very true. Yeah, and if anything, that makes it better for you. There's more for you,
Yeah, more people to hire when I'm older.
Yeah, exactly.
Have more businesses, yeah.
Exactly. So, okay, so you went to the castle at 14, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you went there, you kind of knew what to expect because you've seen your parents do it, and like you kind of watch videos, etc.
Yeah, and to be honest, don't want Dan to hear this because the next time I go, he'll go mental at me. But I thought he was a bit soft with me in the room, considering if you watch back the videos, he's still hard and he's swearing and stuff like that. But I didn't think as much.
Are you talking about like?
I was in there.
Are you talking about like during the seminar or like during the interview?
Yeah, during the seminar. Yeah, during the seminar when I'm there. He still goes crazy, but I thought he held back a little bit. But
yeah. I saw your interview with him. Like, how often do you talk to him?
Not a lot. He's a very busy man himself, obviously.
I'm sure, yeah.
He speaks to my parents. A lot of it's more through social media, so sometimes he'll speak about our family in seminars to other people about how more my parents. I don't know about me now yet, if he's mentioned me, but how they're on the Wall of Fame, etc., and what happened with them. Because his castle seminar is in Scotland as well, so he uses the Scottish people as an example. One of the few Scottish people that have made it from him. I'm
just excited that I got you on the call because, like, just hearing stuff that Dan talks about, it's kind of like wild. Like, he talks about like 14, 15-year-olds doing $50 million deals, and like he talks about really big numbers and says it really fast. It's like, is it really real? Like, is that stuff real? But like, speaking to you, we're gonna dive into how you bought your business, but like, kind of hearing about it makes it more real. Like, me speaking to more people that have done it makes it more real, and I don't think there's enough people that have done interviews that did deals. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I would.
It's a bit mysterious, no?
Yeah, it's an amazing experience, and anyone that gets the opportunity to go, I think, is definitely within their rights to go and should really embrace the way the way he teaches you things. On the other hand, I'd also say you also do your own thing on top of his base value that he's taught you. The best thing I like about Dan Pena is the mindset. Yeah. More than what he actually teaches you and the way to actually run a business. Although his way completely works as well, in a lot of cases. It's everyone else is different, and I think a lot of people won't do that on the back of Dan as well, because Dan teaches you a way to do it, but then everyone breaks off and does their own thing. So I couldn't tell you why though. Interesting.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your journey, or like, I don't know, I know like Dan says there's no such thing as journey, right? Whatever the word you want to use, right? Tell me about your experience, because I know it took you 2 years to do your first deal. So like, you probably learned a lot. So walk us through that, like the 2 years. You're 14. You're trying to buy a business. I saw your pictures of 14. Like, you looked really young. Like, Who would want to sell their business to a 14-year-old? It's kind of wild to even say.
Yeah. So I would argue. So this deal that I've done, in my terms. So I'm a big football fan. If we take it back even to when I'm a boy, I'm a big football fan.
Yeah.
Glasgow Rangers football all my life. That football team. I've been going to this bar that I now own since my first holiday was to here. So since that first holiday, I've been to that place and I've known the owner. Grew up on the owner, and he'd been looking to sell to my dad for years. But my dad's now not involved in that. He's way above the numbers for this bar. So I ended up going to chat to the boss, agreed a deal. So going back to seller's finance, I said everyone needs to learn this. Seller's finance is basically, if I didn't have any money, I did not have a single penny to buy the bar. I'm a freshly 16-year-old at this point, fresh 16-year-old, no money, just out of school, just doing bits and bobs for money, etc., etc. Seller's finance is where, best to explain it is your business is going to be paying off the money that you owe for the business. Your business is paying off what you owe for the business that you bought. So you're getting it for free like that. So another rule, you asked me a question about what have I learned from my parents. Your price, my terms. So in that sense, say a company worth 1 million, selling for 1 million. There's 500,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say, okay, I'll buy your business for 1 million, but I'll pay you off over 2 years. So if you have a look at the numbers, that bar makes 500,000 in a year. In a year, so it's got 500,000 in the bank from that year, selling the business for 1 million. You get it?
Like 500,000 in the bank. Are you talking about just cash? How much?
Yeah.
How much revenue does it make?
In cash.
Yeah.
The bank's the business has got 500,000, selling for 1 million.
Got it.
Yeah.
How much like EBITDA? Does that matter?
Say 20% EBITDA.
Okay.
Say 20% EBITDA. But
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So the bar's going to make money. The business is making money every year. That much money every year. Okay, so I'll say, I'll buy your business for 1 million, but I'll pay it off over so many years. So you've got 500 million in the business bank. As soon as you buy the bar, you give that straight to the owner of the bar. That's 500,000 off of it. You could then pay it off with the next 500,000 you make in 1 year or 2 years in the term. You understand? So you don't spend any of your own money.
So, okay, here's the question. There's 2 questions from this. One, why would an owner who already has a business with 500,000 in the bank, why would he want to sell for 1 million, right?
No, this is just hypothetical numbers, though.
Got it.
This does not matter. This could be on. I know that the numbers probably won't make sense.
Whatever the numbers are, like, why would he want to sell for $0 up front? You know what I mean?
Well, because think of it, if in a terms of they're wanting to make money off their selling their business, they're getting a good price. It's probably a price over than what someone would pay out front anyway. People are going to make their money on this and probably a bit more. So, and people want out the game. Motivated sellers is another thing I look for. So these are people that desperately need out of a situation or want out of the business of owning it as such. So people are in situations where they just need out, or just motivated sellers will take that. They're getting their price that they ask for just on my terms.
Yeah. Give me examples of real deals that maybe you've seen, or maybe just give examples. Like maybe it could be your own or something.
My bar, and I don't want to get into too much of the numbers, but so individual investors with my bar, I had individual investors for 20,000. Okay. You said. Yeah, the bar was for sale for 30,000.
Okay.
With the look of my numbers, I can tell. With the bar's last 3 years of numbers, before I bought the bar, I can tell how much the bar is making. Let's say, okay?
Sure.
So, with that idea in mind, I can now propose to the owner of the bar, who wants to go back to the UK anyway. He's done with it. He's making a little bit of money as it goes. He's done with it. I can go back to him and say, well, okay, look, so I'll give you your 50,000, but over 3 years, so I'll give him 20,000 up front for the bar now. Yeah. He's getting a little bit now that he could live off of, and then 30,000 for the next 3 years after that. So my bar only needs to make 10,000 a year to pay that back, to pay him back, and anything else after that is my money. Yeah. Does that make it clear? Probably better explaining that than before. But
is that was your deal, or you said you don't want?
Yeah, that was my deal. Yes.
Got it. Interesting. Yeah. So why did you pick pubs exactly? Is it because you knew the guy, or is there
Yeah,
a sector you
so
want
it
to delve
was
into?
to honestly get in the game. I say it took me 2 years since I was 14. There was a lot of, well, I'll say it, fucking about in different sectors regarding, oh, I don't know what I want to do. I'm half-hearted into this, but half-hearted into this. That me knowing the owner before what played a major part because I knew his circumstances, I knew what he wanted to do with it, as well as uh, I've got the help of my parents, not financially but smartly. They kind of know a little bit about it. They know business, so business works. Um, no real major reason why I chose that one. I could do anything, but as Dan Pena says, it's roll ups and then on to the next.
Mm.
So this sector won't be is the first, but it very much won't be the last. And who knows, I could do maybe 3 sets of hospitality roll ups in my lifetime, starting as I've started so early.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
no real reason to any sector, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot of good sectors. So as a 14-year-old, why, like, a lot of kids nowadays, they'll do like drop shipping or like Amazon or like these online businesses. Why didn't you pick like the normal stuff? Why'd you pick the harder
I'll tell you, because
option,
I've tried all of it and none of it works. None of it works. And if anyone, I'd say, is trying to sell you, well, it might work in some people, but when people are selling you courses, why do people teach you how to do it when they're doing it themselves? And I asked Dan Pena the same question on my podcast, which is, why do you teach? And his answer was, well, I've already done it myself, so now I can teach. That's a good answer, but half the people I see online, etc., teaching you stuff like day trading. Oh, by the way, I've put my money into it, into every course, every certain different course, and my dad's told me it'll never work. He's tried it before me, he never listened. They do not work. In a sense of, some people it will work for some people, but
Yeah.
I promise you, when people are telling you to buy their trading accounts and stuff like that, it will not work. It's only generating them money.
Yeah, yeah. That's very true.
So that's honestly why. And even this is after me going to see Dan and being at the castle. After knowing about QLA, I've still tried it. Honestly, I would sit here and tell you, if it worked to do it, who would not want to sit on a couch and touch your laptop for an hour and have 10k in the bank account?
Exactly, right?
I would, but it's not worked for me, so I can't tell you to go do it.
Yeah, me neither. No, yeah.
Oh.
Most of the time it wouldn't, but there's always anomalies, like you said.
Yeah, and I'm not going up on the luck that I'm going to be that one person that's doing it. That's not going to work for me. I'd rather solidify and make sure it happens.
So, okay, back to your deal, yeah? The idea of doing deals without any of your own money, do you think that's a possibility? Like, is that really possible?
1,000,000%, yeah. 1,000,000%. And even now that I've made a bit of money and will be investing with that money, I will still, if I don't need to use my money, I'm not using my money. Why would I do that?
Yeah. Like, QLA is really seller finance with a mix of commercial debt, right?
Yeah.
And that works to like high scale levels, like big deals, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, but here's another factor, right? Because the number one thing that matters is for the cash flow, like the free cash flow, the profit has to cover the debt service, has to cover the yearly payment of debt, right?
Mhm.
So when the multiples are a bit too high, sometimes you can't do the deals, yeah?
Right.
So like, to what extent does it really work?
Well, so say me, I've not done any major big time scales as of now. That it does work, and I know it does work, and I'd have to think about that as of now to calculate and show you how it works. I definitely know how it definitely works. So I guarantee it works.
That's a good video idea for you, by the way. That's a good video idea. That's something people would think about.
Yeah, that is a very good question, actually.
Because the thing is, Mitchell, I've spoke to some people that went to the castle, like not just you, like other people.
Yeah.
Another person that actually went to the castle the same year as you, probably same seminar as you, because he was sitting next to you in the seminar or next to the Carlings. But he told me in the hardcore, hardcore is a different seminar, but he met a guy that did $198 million deal through a 60-40 model, which I'm sure you're familiar with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of crazy. So it works to a very large scale.
Yeah. Well, that's a perfect example. I don't know too much about that deal or I've not spoke to anyone that said that has worked. But there you go. Then that's someone saying it's definitely worked.
Okay, so why exactly don't you need any of your own money? Like, that's just hard concept for people to grasp. And they're going to be meatheads. There's some people that are never going to understand
some
it, right?
people
Like you said.
will watch this and we could explain it for hours and they will never understand it, and it's kind of because they don't want to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At the end of the day. But we can't help that. So why not use your own money? Well, why do you want to use your own money? That's the only answer I could give you back is, why do you want to use your own money?
Yeah, of course.
If you can find other ways of making money, and people are so much scared to get into debt as well.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I'm in debt as a 16-year-old. I'm in good debt. There's a very clear difference between bad debt and good debt.
True.
And any big entrepreneur will tell you they're all in debt. They are all in debt.
That's true.
They have the most money anyone's ever got, but they're all in debt.
So for your first deal, you said you had $20,000 down, $30,000 was on a seller finance note, right?
Yeah.
So for the $20,000, was that commercial debt or was it cash, or how did that happen?
Trusted people that have got it, and I pay them back every month, and I will do for 2 years. So on top of so none of it was my own money again.
Got it.
As I said, none of it is my money.
Interesting. Okay. So where are you going from here, basically? Like, I know for the QLA model, like, you need to have like a board, you need to have the accountants and lawyers. And, like,
so
I've
got a board. I do my accounts as of now. I don't need an accountant as I've only got one business as of such yet.
But however, like due diligence work, right? That's like a little bit different.
Yeah. So I have a marketing team, etc., etc. So I've got everything in place. What we're hoping to do is, what I will do is flip hospitality businesses with a 5 million revenue at 20% EBITDA. So it's all about the EBITDA margin. So arbitrage, I don't know if you're familiar with that name. We use the arbitrage system as a group of bars with an EBITDA together higher sells for higher. If you understand.
Yeah. The multiples increase, right?
The
multiples arbitrage.
So the multiples will be higher.
I'm familiar with it,
so
but
QLE teaches you that.
But I'm sure people watching might not understand that. Yeah.
So say I have 10 bars equal 5 million in revenue altogether. It doesn't matter. So one could be 100,000. One could be 1 million. All added up together, 5 million in revenue, 20% in EBITDA. That the EBITDA margins altogether is higher, so the buying price will be a multiple of that.
Yeah.
So as a group, they are all more expensive than as one.
Yeah.
So instead of selling all bars at a different price for a lower, and this isn't just bars, this is any business sector. This is the flipping QLE. This is the QLE method.
This is what, No, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Sorry, so what was the question again?
So for like your next deals, right? You said you're looking for 5 million revenue, 20% EBITDA, right?
Yeah.
So tell me the process for finding these deals. How do you find them? How do you negotiate? And like, what kind of multiples do you give on them? I'm kind of curious on that.
Oh, so Spain especially is a nightmare. Especially around bars and restaurants, nightclubs, all this, etc. Down here, basically numbers are like, they just make them out of thin air on pieces of paper, write down what they make per year.
Because they don't have tax returns and stuff, right?
No, they do, and they're cracking down on it now, so it'll be good. And as a businessman, I will keep my records all fine and dandy. But people here, this area has been places where people move away from the UK or wherever they live, buy a bar singularly and run it and live in paradise for the rest of their life.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, that doesn't happen most of the time, and normally it's a worse life than what they had back home. Running a bar is a nightmare. But they just write the numbers. They don't say anything. There's no proof of half of it. Half of it's under the tax radar. So this isn't actually a perfect example of doing what you should do.
Yeah, in the States it's a bit different.
You will never get an accurate number. Unless they've got the numbers, but I've not found anywhere that I've spoke to, and it could be the best bars. I've named bars that are for sale that I've spoke to.
It's like that in Dubai as well, right?
Dubai, I haven't really had a look into the market too much. I'm going when I'm back there after being in Spain. I am going back to see a few, and I'll let you know about that. But I don't know as of Dubai for now.
Okay,
but
so
Spain is a big nightmare for this.
So how does that work? Like, okay, you approach a business owner, let's say a cold call or an email, and you want to buy his bar, or maybe you met him in person or something. You want to buy his bar, right? And the numbers is a nightmare. So like, how do you organize these numbers? How does this work?
So basically, a lot of people beef up the hog before they sell their business as well. So they put as much in, keep as much money in the bank bar, so it looks amazing.
Yeah, lipstick on a pig.
So you say lipstick it up. Yeah, we beef up the hog.
Yeah.
Before you eat it. So a lot of people do that, but we take that into account. As I say, we're not stupid. I'm not stupid. I am 16, but I understand what goes on. I understand business. I understand. It's more of an instinctive feeling, and you basically know. Once you have a look at what they've written down and stuff, you know basically where you're at with it, and just keep an eye on the end goal, which is you always think back the way. You never start and then think as you go on. So I'm already buying these bars. I already know who I'm going to sell to before I bought them, which is it's a major part, I'd say, for everyone listening as well, is think your end goal before you even start. Work back the way. How are you going to do this from when you're there?
Yeah, the exit strategy, yeah.
Yeah, the exit strategy, because that's the most important. That's when you make your most money.
Correct, yeah.
So looking at it like that, you need to think of the multiple and what you're going to get with loads of bars. You can't think of it individually because it's not big a scale enough to be, or neither is it regulated enough on their behalf to be doing a lot, if you understand.
Yeah. Is it cool if you turn your camera on and off real quick? It's just kind of
on and off.
Yeah, it's just kind of laggy.
Don't know if it's coming back on.
Yeah, there you go.
There we are.
Okay, so so that's just kind of crazy to deal with, like the numbers. You know, honestly, they do that in the States too. Just the small businesses, their numbers are just all over the place. It's just a normal thing you have to go through.
I'd probably just say that's because people aren't intending to do what we are doing. You know what I mean? They're thinking they're just gonna have these businesses for the rest of their life.
And then that's how the seller finance comes along. It's like your numbers won't go through with a bank. Yeah. So what are we gonna do? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, there's not really a way to fix
it. I guess as well, on a bigger scale, seller finance would be easier as well, though, because you can tell whether seller's finance will work or not. It's because big businesses will have their numbers accounted for, so it's easier to figure out what is going on. Although the risk's higher there if you lose it or you can't do it, but you got to take that risk.
So during your 2 years, right, from 14 to 16, what were you doing? You said it was fucking about, right? Like where did you spend most of your time? Like, cause I'm asking not just for yourself, but like for myself, right? Cause I went through it, you know, like kind of like a year of doing it, etc. Switching sectors. So I'm in a similar boat. Like there's probably some other people doing it in that same situation. Like how did you look at that situation and how would you turn it around? Like what are some things you learned that you would have done different?
So by fucking about, I just mean purely half-heartedness. I'm still a kid, so I'm wanting to enjoy myself. A lot of it is just laziness, being a kid, wanting to go have fun, wanting to just sit about. So a lot of it would be I'm still at school.
Oh, you were in school, right?
Yeah, so still at school, going out with my mates the weekend, doing what I want, playing football, just being a kid. But when I want, but when my aim goal is, and I know what my aim goal is to be, I'm not that. That's not what you do. So my own excuse is I was a kid, but when I know, so there's no excuse really. Just doing things that every child should do. But when you want to be better, you can't be doing the same as what everyone should be doing.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there were times where you just get that motivation for a month here, every day after school, trying to figure out things to do, but never anything consistent.
Yeah. So, did you follow the steps directly, like they tell you to do it, like find a chairman you don't need to explain about and all that? Like, how was that for you?
Well, luckily, I've got parents that have been doing it. Since I've been born, really. So no, I didn't say I had the most typical start get a chairman. So a lot of people would use Dan as their chairman. Dan's obviously a chairman you don't ask about. He's Dan Pena. Now I guess you could see my dad would probably have a little bit of that status where you just wouldn't ask. You could find out who he is pretty easily. You should know who he is if he's doing business with you. But no, I didn't do that.
Okay. What about accountants on success fee?
Sorry, what do you mean by that?
Like basically accountants that do the due diligence work on the business, they find out the numbers, not like a quality of earnings, but they do the numbers for you, and then you pay them when the deal goes through.
Well, no, so I didn't do that. I didn't use that. I still to this day do all my accounts, just as of now, as there's only one business, and I keep on top of it. That going forward is going to need to change. So I would say keep that in mind. It's just because I'm doing it, I will be changing into it as I grow a larger scale company and business.
Okay.
But as of now, it's not really necessary. I want to be good at my numbers.
Yeah. What about deal flow?
In what sense again? Sorry.
What's your process for deal flow? What did you do to find deals? Did you do cold calls, emails? Did you just walk in bars?
Dan will teach you cold calls, 1,000 cold calls a day. And then once you've done that, 1,000 cold calls in the morning, 1,000 cold calls in the afternoon, 1,000 in the evening. And he'll tell you to keep doing that until you get an answer, He's right in a sense, but it's less cold calls now, although it can be. But a lot of it was going up to bars, just speaking to, again, as I said, it's a lot of just families that come out here, couples, etc. So I was just going in, do you own the bar? Here's my tip, here's my number. I'm looking and buying a few around the area. If you're interested, let me know. And you end up just getting a few. That strip of bars, there's millions of bars. I'm going to get at least one, is my thinking of it. You don't stop asking until you get one. Yeah. Although there's websites as well, bars for sale, stuff like that, but all comes from different areas. You just need to keep trying and finding new ways of speaking to owners.
Yeah. So what about from the seminar or from your parents, for deal flow? What do you see other people usually doing? Do they do cold calls?
Yeah, so on that, so you asked my parents, people come to them with deals now. There's a part in your business career when you will change and people will come to you. I've not heard anything in the last few years of my parents going and asking people, or a few times possibly if it's a good deal or bigger scale than them. But so many people now go to my parents, either from being mentioned by Dan Pena, etc., or just themselves marketing. They are now getting people offering their businesses to them. And that's the goal, really, because then you don't have to do 3,000 calls a day. They call you.
Yeah,
So,
I've heard of that as well, where they come out to you. That's on a larger scale, but like, yeah, that's just very interesting. It's
but
very
that's the skill
interesting.
you want to be at.
Yeah,
It makes your life easier as well. People come to
absolutely.
you and knowing you're smart with your money.
So here's another thing, right? Like, the hardest part isn't even like getting the business and buying it. It's usually running the business, right? 'Cause you have to
Yeah.
manage people and like people don't show up, et cetera, et cetera. How's that going for you?
So, the brilliant thing for me is I'm too young to be in a bar. I'm too young. I'm
Yeah,
not old
that
enough
didn't
to
even
drink.
cross my
I'm
head.
not
I
old
don't know
enough to
how.
work in the bar.
Yeah.
In America, it's 21. Here, it's 18. But and yeah, no. So I can't work in the bar legally if I wanted to. But luckily, my mind is being the owner, not a worker in my bar. So I've got a really good manager in place that lives here full on. He does the money safe, etc., etc. A trustworthy person, trustworthy manager who does an excellent job, and also 3 others bar staff.
Interesting. So like, did you hire this manager or like how did you find him?
Yeah, hired him. Went through the process of marketing that people are needing a job, bar opening up again. 2 boys. Well, the manager now is a boy that used to work there before, who we took over with us. Another bar staff boy is another boy that worked there from before, and then 2 of the other boys are now being hired by me. So yeah, I've as of now, I'm 16. I think I've sacked or fired 5 people in my life, and I'm 16 already. So
Were they
it
like
won't
not
be the
showing up?
last. Pardon?
Were they not showing up? Like, why'd you fire them? Because you
So-
were in the bar to like see what happened, right?
Oh well, that's again why you need people around you that are there that you can trust.
Yeah, exactly.
And well, people just don't do their job. You know, people just
Yeah, absolutely.
don't want to do the job, don't do it, can't be bothered doing it. Yeah, some people haven't showed up. Some people have got problems with stealing. Everything. There's already loads of things I could talk to you about, and why people have had to go and stuff like that. But we'd
That's
be
so
here all
funny.
day.
No, it's just so funny to me that like you're not even old enough to drink or go in a bar and you own a bar. That's just so funny.
Yeah, no. In Spain you can walk in them, but yeah, I'm not allowed to drink. I'm not allowed to work in the bar because you need to be 18 to pour a drink. So, yeah, it's good for me as in I'm still in the process of I need to make money. The way I look at it is if I work in the bar, I've failed because then that's me working in my bar. I don't want to be doing that. I want to be thinking about the bigger picture, buying the next bar, buying the next bar, buying the next bar, selling them onto the next sector, and continuing that way.
Yeah. When would you want to sell and move on to a different sector? At what size?
2-3 years, maybe, possibly.
Yeah.
2-3 years.
How
3
many
years,
acquisitions would you have done by then?
10.
Okay.
10 is the goal.
Got it. So like 10 acquisitions, you bought 10 bars. Like how much revenue and like EBITDA would you?
So 5 million revenue, 20% EBITDA.
Okay. So like 1 million EBITDA.
Yeah, 1 million EBITDA.
Okay. What kind of multiple would that command, you think?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't even look at it as of yet. I have looked at it, but
Like would you take like a 5 times or 3 times, 4 times?
it was looking at about 4.6, 4.7, around that. So yeah, so 5 times. Say 5 times. 5 times EBITDA. Well, you'd be happy with, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So would you sell it on seller finance or no?
Good question. I'm not in a predicament to answer that now, as I don't know what I'll be doing in 5 years, because I could be doing a lot more than just this in the time that comes. Possibly, I would never say never.
Yeah. What about like the other QLA people like Marcus Bauer and like who's the South African guy called? What's his name? Not Andreas. Like all these different guys that like in 3 to 5 years, they do like big deals. Like they'll buy
I could not really. That could be bad for me, but I do not know who they are.
Yeah.
Honestly, Dan Penny was my main, and then Robert Kiyosaki, and a few other people. Realistically, I'm not really into YouTube that much.
Yeah, gotcha.
Bigly. I don't really. I read sometimes. I'm more into it now.
Gotcha.
I don't really watch.
No, I wasn't trying to put you in a bad spot. I was just trying to say like,
no problem.
Like for the bigger deals, like why not aim for bigger deals? Just out of curiosity, like how do you think of that?
When you aim for bigger deals.
Yeah.
So, meaning what? So when you're starting off of nothing and you're aiming to get bigger instantly. You mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I would say why not? I think the only issue you'd have with that is, especially at my age, if I was to do that at some degree, someone is just going to go, well, who is giving this 16-year-old millions and millions of pounds? Or millions and millions of dollars? And
you see, that's the logical conclusion, right? But then,
that is the logical conclusion.
Yeah.
However, when I show up in a suit, with my legal team, there is a turning point where people believe, like, well, somebody's got to be serious. When I put an offer out, like, it's taken seriously, not just because of I've got this bar now, but before that, when you show up and you show that you're serious, a lot of people wouldn't even show up. So you don't worry about what people think of you and just do it anyway, is what I'd say.
Yeah. And when you see like the lawyers and everything give out the offer for you, and you see like the law firm, it's like yeah.
Exactly. You got to use the people around you. You know what I mean? So, as well as at my age and people my age that are wanting to do it, getting a board in the team is good as well, because then you have got people backed up with real knowledge that people will look at you, and as you stand with them and work with them, they will respect you. When you work because you work with these people. That's why Dan says get a chairman no one will ask a question about, is because people are going to ask a question on you. But if you've got Dan Penny as your chairman, well, they're going to respect you. You understand? So, so you definitely have them sort of people around you, and go for the big deals. That's all you want in life, is it not? That's the aspiration, to go for the bigger deals.
Yeah, because I've seen this like 15-year-old who did the $50 million deal. Like $50 million at 15 is like kind of crazy.
Oh,
right?
Amazing.
Yeah, but I'm saying like for you, like why don't you aim for something like that? Why? So like I'm not trying to knock you at all. Like I know it sounds like that, but I'm really not. But
that's a good question. I'm not opposed to it. Just this deal has been done, and I could always do a bigger deal. I'm always looking for bigger deals. Maybe the right one hasn't came to me yet, but I keep going it my way. I also like to enjoy my life as well now, as of fully going 100%. I do, and I am starting now going even more and getting more into it and stuff. But I do, with a bit of the money, I like to treat myself to a nice top or go out for a nice meal. I like to live
100%.
live with my money as I make it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be just a boring old kid. I am a kid. I want to do fun things. But that doesn't mean, I would say, know how to have fun, but not to ruin your future.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and my parents would say the same. They work together. If they worked on their own, they'd be a million times richer. But they enjoy what they have at the time, as well as work very hard. So, I don't know, also this boy could also have fun whenever he wants, you know what I mean? And he could be doing the exact same thing as me. It's just numbers at the end of the day. Doesn't mean anything's harder work. It could be easier work to do that deal. Or it might not be. That's a good question. It's always on the cards. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I'm sure you will, man. And to be honest, I'm sure you will. Just like who your parents are alone. they're doing 140 million like 2 years ago. They're probably doing big deals. Like a bunch of the QLA guys are all doing big deals.
Yes.
I'm sure you're gonna end up doing big deals. Like it's
Well,
just
what
like
about yourself?
it's like in the
Have
DNA.
you got any
You know?
deals going?
Sorry, say that again.
Have you got any deals going?
That's a good question. Right now I don't. I do not right now, but it's in the works.
What sectors are you looking to go into though? Just in a.
So I did. I was doing healthcare in the beginning. I was doing home health, home care.
Right.
And I was doing that for some time, and I had a job. It was just like managing time and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Dan pushes healthcare a lot. I don't know about a lot now, but when I was at the seminar, healthcare was everything to Dan.
Yeah, I know.
He told everyone to get into healthcare, and I think healthcare just spiked as soon as he said that. Everyone was looking at healthcare.
Yeah, like I ran into a lot of QLA people just because of the home health, home care. Like honestly, looking back, I should have done a different sector,
Yeah, well.
Yeah, and the profit margins are not the best.
Healthcare is always going to improve, though.
The industry grows, you mean?
Yeah, a new one to look into, I'd say, is AI technology and security.
Yeah, cybersecurity, right?
Yeah,
that's the next one I'm doing.
AI security. So,
yeah.
Using AI for all sorts of things, keep like facial recognition and stuff to get into places and all that.
Yeah.
I think that's the future. Well, look at what Tesla's just came out with robots and all that. So,
yeah, I am doing the roll up in IT cybersecurity just because tech, the growth in it is crazy. Like it has a compound annual growth rate of like 10.5% or something. It's been doing that for like 10 years. And it's gonna keep.
And is that in America?
Yeah, this is across the globe and in America.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the goal for you then? Are you wanting to leave America? Or are you wanting to just live life there?
Honestly, my goal is to really travel before making a decision. But I've lived in America all my life. I've traveled a bit outside the country. It's very different outside. America's like a bubble.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, like Americans don't realize what the rest of the world is really like. But there's a lot of good countries out there as well. I want to go to like Switzerland or. Spain is beautiful. I've been to Spain.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of cities in Spain, yeah.
Spain, whereabouts in Spain? Barcelona, Madrid?
Yeah. I've been to Madrid. I've been to Granada. I've been to Malaga.
That's where I am, Malaga.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
there's like mountains and the beach and everything.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bars there, yeah. There's a lot of them.
So
they're everywhere.
I'm in the jackpot city for my sector is what I think, anyway.
Yeah, I'd easily get distracted out there too. It's just so beautiful. And it's always like at night. There's always stuff going on. There's always tourists.
Yeah, it's a very good spot for it.
There's a lot of money there too.
Yeah, it can be. It can be a lot of money there. Can be on different scales and different things. There's a lot of money.
But it's interesting that like if I was living there and I was trying to buy a pub, right? Like, I don't know Spanish. So, like, how does that work? Like, I don't know Spanish. I'm 16. Like,
yeah, well, no, I do know Spanish.
Okay,
like, okay. I can speak half. Like, I understand everything everyone says. I just can't speak it back.
Got it.
And a lot of people in the hospitality industry here anyway speak English.
There is a lot of hotels there too. You're right.
Yeah. And most people that have came over to buy bars, etc., are English, speak English. Or when you own a bar, everyone in Spain speaks English when they come on holiday.
That's very true.
Touristy place. Everyone speaks English. Yeah, all legal documents are in English, but I have a lawyer that speaks Spanish and English, so everything's kind of controlled over that.
Yeah, I think honestly I'd probably stay in America. I don't like. There's a lot of things about America I don't like, but I don't know. Like America's like a mini world. Like you got Miami. It's like tropical. You got the snow. You got the sand. You got beautiful areas too. Perfect weather.
Yeah,
it's a good mix.
I mean, I told Dan when I was 14, it's on YouTube, with the interview with me and my family. I told I told Dan I wanted to move to America.
California, right?
Yeah, California. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't know about that now, but.
Yeah, you don't want to move to California.
Miami looks nice. Miami looks nice.
Miami's nice, yeah. I've lived in California, actually. I lived in LA, or like Orange County.
Yeah. Is that nice?
The weather's beautiful. Every single day there's like a perfect sunset. I lived there like during, what was it, like 2016-ish for a couple years. So it wasn't as weird. It wasn't as bad, I'd say.
Yeah.
But it definitely got worse. It wasn't the best though, honestly. It's more of a personality thing. You got to know your personality. You might like the country more. You might like the city more. You know? I like New York City the best. I'm from New York.
New York City?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've been on holiday there. It's very nice. But is it not freezing now?
It's freezing. It's definitely freezing.
Yeah, nah. Don't like that. I've lived in Scotland my whole life. I don't need any more cold.
That's fair. I was about to say, like, you're from the cold, like, you should be used to it. But no, like...
No, yeah. I don't want... If I'm making money, I'm not staying in somewhere cold. So...
Yeah.
I'll go wherever the sun takes me.
Exactly. Just go there for the summer then.